I know I haven't done a reaction video in a while, but I want to do it again, and this is your boldest takes for the 2021-22 season, where I'm going to react to them right now in a video. So, this season has already been looking really interesting. Preseason is going on. We see teams like the Heat, the Bulls looking really good. Team like the Lakers, not so good. Now, I made this post 3 days ago, so it's still been a while. But, so, first, my boldest take. I think my boldest take is that the Miami Heat will be a top 3 seed and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I really like this Heat team, especially with Hero breaking out as potentially one of the best six men in the NBA, or maybe even like a 16 point per game starter on good efficiency. They still have Lowry, Jimmy, Bam, who can lock up on defense, and I really love this Heat team, and I think they could make a deep run in the playoffs. So, with that being said, let's look at your takes. Now, the first take is from Krish NA, and he says, the Golden State Warriors have depth, with Porter Jr. and Bielitsa and the one and only Iggy. They have firepower to score when Clay will be back, and this team just might make the NBA Finals. I personally think that the Golden State Warriors are going a bit overrated, just a little bit. I personally don't think they're gonna be like a top 3 seed. I think that they're definitely a serious contender, but this team still, it's changing. It still might change because of Jordan Poole, who's been looking so impressive. Watching that Laker game, he pretty much torched the Lakers, and I still think this team is really good. I think they're going to end up like the 4th seed, but definitely have a chance to make the NBA Finals. But a lot of things would have to go right for them, especially Klay Thompson coming back. Next one from the GOAT, and he says, when Ben Simmons gets traded, he will be an all-star. Well, first, will Ben Simmons get traded? I think he might go. Apparently there was like an offer for CJ McCollum, like 4 first-round picks, which the Blazers declined, which makes sense, of course, but I would say if he gets traded to like the Pacers or the Timberwolves, I think it is possible. I don't think it's going to be this year, but in the future, I think he can make another all-star team. Next one from Who is Better. After this year, the Lakers will be AD's team. Well, first, this was supposed to be AD's team like pretty much last year, but he of course had the injuries, and I think there is a good possibility that this will become Anthony Davis's team, but will he just accept the torch from LeBron James? LeBron has been pretty much better than him, and he hasn't really seemed to take the torch yet, but I think that there is a good chance this happens for sure. Next one comes from Iconic Space, and he says, the Mavericks finally make it out of the first round, but lose in the semifinals. Luka gets freed up and forms a super team. I think this is possible. I didn't really like their offseason moves that didn't get that secondary ball handling star alongside Luka, but Luka already signed the Supermax, and he's there for 5 more years, and there's no 6 more years, and there's no way he gets traded. So maybe in like 6 or 7 years he might form a super team. That definitely is possible, but in the next couple years it definitely won't happen. Next from Tati, and he says, I think AD will request a trade after LeBron stops longevity, like right away. Well, I don't think so. I think AD wants to be the best player on a championship team, and Lakers are pretty much the biggest market, and AD loves LA, and I think that as long as they're not like tanking, I think he's gonna stay. But I would say that he would give it like a couple years after LeBron retires. Next one from Michael, and he said the Jazz will be the 1st seed in the West this year. I think this definitely is possible. The Jazz are just built to be one of the best regular season teams in the NBA. They have a scoring star. They have a defensive rim protector in Rudy. They have so much 3-point shooting, and I think this definitely is possible. The Lakers most likely won't be fully healthy the whole year. The Suns, I think that the Jazz are a better regular season team than the Suns, not in the playoffs, but I definitely agree with this take. Next one from a random commentator, and he says, PG-13 will be an MVP candidate. So I've seen this around recently, and I think it is possible if PG can average like 28, 7, and 7, and they're a top 5 seed or top 4 seed. That is possible, but will they be a top 5 seed? I would say probably not, but if they are, I think PG can definitely be an All-NBA first-team type guy, maybe even an MVP candidate. Next one from Jackson, LaMelo Ball will decline slightly. I think that is possible, but I still think he's going to be really good. Kemba Walker has a Chris Paul on Thunder-like season. I wouldn't say so because Chris Paul is a leader, which Kemba, I mean, Kemba's a really good player, but he's not like Chris Paul. Timberwolves make the playoffs, definitely possible if they can stay healthy. Pacers are a top 5 team in the East. I mean, I can see that. The Pacers are always a slept-on team. They're definitely super talented, but I would say it's unlikely. I would have the Bulls, the Celtics, the Knicks over them. Probably a play-in team in my eyes. Sexton is an MVP candidate. I mean, he has really good stats, but they're not MVP level stats, and he's also on one of the worst teams in the NBA. Nets won't go to the finals if they're not healthy. That's likely. This will be Dame's last year on the Blazers. If they get out of the first round, if they lose in the first round again, probably going to happen. Ben traded to the Rockets for Wall. Probably not. I think that's a bad trade for the Sixers. Clippers missed the playoffs. Definitely is possible with them, of course, not having Kawhi, but I would say that they're like the 6th or 7th seed. And Jonathan Isaac is DPOY. This year, probably not because he's not going to play the whole season, but he definitely has that talent. Another one from Iconic Space, and he says the Jazz get first rounded for the 3rd season in a row, and Donovan leaves to join Luka's super team. Jazz blow it and start a rebuild. I mean, they haven't got first rounded. They didn't get first rounded last year, but I think there is a chance Donovan might leave. I mean, remember, he's on a 5-year deal, so he can't leave for a while, but I think there is a good chance that this Jazz team blows it up in a couple years, but I wouldn't say after this year, definitely not. Next one from Raj. The Knicks will win a championship with Obi Toppin and Quickly in their prime, if they're on the same team. I mean, I don't think Obi Toppin and Quickly will be superstars. I think they're going to be really good players, especially Quickly, but definitely not like superstars. So maybe if they have like a big name, they sign a big name. But with them two as the 2 best players, it's probably not going to happen. Next one from OG. He says, another sleeper team will win the finals. Well, I would say so. The NBA is just so unpredictable, and a team like, I don't know, like the 76ers maybe break out as a championship contender. The Jazz take the next step. I don't know. So yeah, definitely possible. Next one from Lil Venom. The Wizards are getting Ben Simmons and winning the NBA championship. Probably not. I mean, Ben is good, but I would like his fit on the Sixers. I mean, on the Wizards, but it wouldn't lead to an NBA championship. Next one from Marav, and he says the Wizards will be a 5 to 7 seed and one of the most underrated teams in the East. Well, I think that the middle of the pack of the East is super competitive, and it can rate, and you can be like, I can see the Wizards being like the 7th seed or the 12th seed. So that's how competitive it is, but I think it is possible. Beal is still really good. Spencer, Kuz, KCP, Harrell. It's a good and deep team, but we'll see if they can put it all together and fix their defense. Next one from Spanner, and he says Bucks will win another ring. Possible, definitely, if they can beat the Nets. Another one from Iconic Space. The Heat will be a 3 seed, but lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, that's what my take was talking about, and I think it definitely is possible. Damian Lillard, the Warriors are super overrated and won't be a top 5 seed. Well, I wouldn't say they're super overrated, but I think it is possible that they're like the 5th or 6th seed, but like I said, they're still a legit championship contender if Clay can come back. Curry is being Curry. Next one from Breezy. Luka won't be on the Mavericks by the start of the 2022-23 season. Well, I mean, I don't think it's possible because he signed the 5-year extension, and I don't think you can be traded in the first 2 years. I think that's how the rule works, but I think that he's going to be on this team for the rest of his rookie extension, but from after that, I'm not sure. Next one from JoJo. The Chicago Bulls will be a dark horse this season. Definitely possible, but hopefully they can put defense all together. Hopefully Patrick Williams can come back, but in the preseason, the Bulls have been looking super impressive. Next one from Sam. The 76ers will be almost as good without Ben. Well, I think if they get a playmaker and another shooter, I think they will be as good because if they lose Ben, their shooters aren't, of course, going to struggle more as they won't get as many open shots. But if they can get like a Malcolm Brogdon type player, I still think they're going to be really good, and maybe even get like a TJ Warren with it. I'm not completely sure. Next one from Mikey. Michael Porter Jr. will win Most Improved Player and average 25 points a game, being an all-star. Well, I think MPJ can no doubt win the Most Improved Player, average 25 points a game, and be an all-star, which I think is pretty realistic. With Jamal Murray being out for pretty much until the all-star break, I think MPJ has an off-season to work out, knows what he has to improve on, and can be one of the best scorers in the NBA. And I think this definitely is possible. Next one from Iconic Space, and he says Jokic will have another MVP season, but won't finish in top 3 in MVP because the media hates him pretty much. Well, I think definitely Jokic will have another MVP season. I mean, I guess he won't finish. I think he will finish as top 3. If he averages like third, if he averages the triple double, he's probably gonna get it, which I think is possible. But I would say it's less likely, but kind of. Another one from Iconic Space. Clippers make the Western Conference Finals, but lose in 7 to the Nuggets. I don't think so, unless Kawhi comes back fully healthy. But I mean, I don't think the Clippers will make the Western Conference Finals. Next one from LeBron James, and he says, I'm going to win 3 more finals and beat Kareem in scoring. I think beating Kareem in scoring is definitely possible if he plays like 5 more seasons. 3 more finals, maybe, I don't know. It's tough to say because, like I said, the NBA is so unpredictable, but I would say that is possible. And I think if he does that, he is the GOAT. Next one from Splash Brothers, and he says, Bulls make it to the conference finals. I think it is possible if the chemistry of Lonzo, DeRozan, Zach, Caruso, and Vooch is perfect. I think that definitely is possible. They have so much talent, but I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe in the future, but this year, I wouldn't say so. Next one from Mateo, Nets won't make the finals if they're not fully healthy. I can see that. Next one from NL, Lakers first round exit and Warriors are winning chip. I mean, if they're not healthy, then I guess the Lakers might not make it out of the first round, but I would say that this is possible, but I wouldn't say it's the most likely. From No Pasta, the Pelicans will be a play-in team. Definitely possible too. I think Willie Green can really be a good coach. They have Zion taking another step. They have Nah, who I think will break out again, B.I., Trey Murphy, Devontae Graham, Jonas Valanciunas. Next one, Suns will go back to the finals. I mean, I think it is possible. They're still a good team. I think Aiden, Bridges, Johnson, even Booker can take another step. Chris Paul, I think, won't regress at all. And definitely, I can see this. I would put more money on the Lakers and maybe even the Warriors on going to the finals, but I think the Suns legit have a good chance. Next one from Yale, Blazers losing the finals to the Nets in 5. Well, I mean, if they trade for Ben Simmons and a couple other moves, a little bit higher chance, but Blazers making the finals, unless Dame is averaging like 60 points in the playoffs, I wouldn't say it's going to happen. And finally, from Robert Covington, Russell Westbrook wins MVP with stats near 30, 10, and 10, and the Lakers finishes the first seed with 65 wins. Well, in the preseason, it isn't looking like that, but it's preseason. So, as a Laker fan, I don't really think this is going to happen. I mean, you have LeBron, who's still going to average like 27, 7, and 8. So that's going to minimize Russ's stats. I think Russ is more realistic, is like 22, 7, and 8, something like that. Yeah, pretty much that. And the Lakers finish as the first seed. If they can stay healthy, if they can get their chemistry together, I think it is possible, but that's definitely a big if. So, that's going to be my reaction to your boldest takes. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on next time.